right now on WLKY. This is breaking news.
So now the work really begins trying to establish some of that and see if we can figure out some sort of motive in this.
A former employee now accused of killing 8 people at the Indianapolis FedEx shipping center. Right now at 6, we have the latest details on this late-breaking story. Good evening to you. I'm Rick Van Hoos.
And I'm Jennifer Bayless in for Wlky tonight. The coroner is still trying to identify victims at the shipping facility near the Indianapolis airport.
Now the FBI and local police say they previously had contact with the shooter. City officials say the shooting started in the parking lot of the FedEx plant around 11 o'clock Thursday night. Police say the shooter, now identified as 19-year-old Brandon Hole, started shooting as soon as he got out of his car. 4 people were shot outside and another 4 inside. At least 7 other people were injured. By the time officers arrived on scene, they say Hole had already shot and killed himself. Family members of FedEx workers gathered at a nearby hotel, waiting hours for any news about their loved ones.
You have to hear, so not only are you worried about your loved one, you're worried, you're thinking about, okay, what happened? Why did this happen? What is going on?
Because it is mentally draining, it is physically draining. We're going to work for literally the next 24 to 48 hours just to give answers to the families. Our first priority is to the families.
Now this afternoon, police searched a house connected to the shooter. Agents were seen carrying out computer equipment. The FBI says that Brandon Hole's mother called police last year saying he threatened to, quote, commit suicide by cop. A shotgun was seized in the process and was not returned. This is the 3rd mass shooting in Indianapolis this year, meaning more families are impacted by gun violence.
WLKY's Alexis Matthews went to Indianapolis today to talk with those who knew the victims.
Families of the victims in the FedEx mass shooting waited at this Indianapolis hotel for hours to learn of the news of their loved ones passing. Now we've learned that many of those victims belonged to the Sikh community. And a local religious leader tells me that although a motive is still unknown, they're not weeding out a hate crime.
This could be hate crime because majority of people, those are working at that facility are Sikhs, and also this person who attacked, he was there as well, and he's a non-Sikh. He was not a Sikh.
Gurinder Singh is a Khalsa in the Indianapolis Sikh community, the 5th largest religion in the world. He's been comforting the families of victims killed in Thursday night's mass shooting at the FedEx facility. While the victims' identities have not yet been publicly released, he tells me 4 of them are from the Sikh community.
Family just left one at a time, and it was very, very sad situation, very heartbreaking. It is very shameful that we are one of the most powerful country on the face of the earth, and we cannot save our own citizens from this kind of ridiculous behavior.
This is the 3rd mass shooting this year in Indianapolis. For many residents, the violence is shocking, and they're still trying to wrap their heads around it.
And when you see it on the news, southwest side of Indianapolis, the light goes on, and you think, oh my goodness, it hit home. I don't like it. Here again, what's wrong with the people that are doing it?
You are a Sikh, or you are an Asian, or you are a Muslim, or you are a Hindu, or a Christian, or whoever you are, we are all human beings.
While many questions still remain unanswered, the community says they wish everyone would choose love and peace over violence. Alexis Matthews, WLKY News.
Thank you, Alexis. Authorities say the 2 other mass shootings in Indianapolis this year stemmed from domestic issues. We will have continuing coverage of the investigation unfolding in Indianapolis coming up during the CBS Evening News. Plus, all the latest developments are on our WLKY mobile app and our website.
The Kentucky Supreme Court is taking up 2 cases that could decide whether the governor's COVID executive orders stay in place. This comes after Governor Beshear filed a lawsuit in February. That's when the General Assembly overrode his veto of a number of bills. They would have removed some of his current executive orders and limited his power to issue new ones. A judge blocked parts of those laws from going into effect. Daniel Cameron appealed, saying that the governor didn't have standing to bring the lawsuit, so it should be tossed out. The second case comes after the governor appealed a Scott County judge's decision, blocking him from enforcing his pandemic restrictions on 3 specific businesses, including 2 in Louisville. Oral arguments are set for June. As many aspects of the pandemic life are returning to normal, one problem is persisting.
Some Louisville area businesses say they are still having a hard time filling open jobs. WLKY's Mark Vanderhoff looks at how they're adjusting.
If you think you've been seeing more now hiring signs like this one, you're not imagining things. Experts say the economy has been growing, but some workers have been staying home.
We had a group come in, and we're a couple people short in the kitchen that we need on the schedule. And there's, we're a server short, like we could actually like to have for in the daytimes.
Khalil's restaurant is short employees, so owner Khalil Batshan is running food to tables himself. At East and Westbrook Construction Company, they can't find enough construction workers.
You run the risk of upsetting a customer because they want to get the job off the ground at this date, and you may have to push the start to this date. In some cases, it may mean that a job that might require an 8-man crew may only have a 6-man crew.
The Louisville area's labor force has shrunk since the pandemic started, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, from 678,000 workers to 647,000 workers as of February. Greater Louisville Inc. CEO Sarah DeVasher Wisdom says a number of factors are to blame. COVID restrictions, although now lifted, forced some daycares out of business, and many students are only attending school 2 days per week on a hybrid schedule.
The restrictions have been lifted, but at the same time, if there is just a lack of available childcare option, then that places people in a very difficult situation.
There is also speculation voiced by politicians such as Senator Mitch McConnell that extra unemployment benefits might be keeping some people from working.
It's going to be interesting to see how the federal government responds and tries to help people navigate out of the pandemic. There is certainly a limit on it, but additional stimulus checks have just been issued.
DeVasher Wisdom says it means companies are having to offer more competitive pay and training.
It's never been this bad.
Mark Vanderhoff, WLKY News.
And right now, Louisville's unemployment rate is 4.5%. Before the pandemic, it was 3.5%.
Business capacity restrictions could be lifted in Kentucky depending on vaccinations. But Louisville leaders say not all the city's public pools will be open. Norton and Algonquin public pools still need renovations. Metro Parks Chair Cindy Fowler says that the Sun Valley and Fairdale pools will open after Memorial Day. She says opening pools up will be a relief.
People are COVID tired. They're just done. You know how it is in the summertime when you've got, everybody wants to go to the pool. It's kind of hard to make an appointment to do that. So, yeah, it would be wonderful if we could make that happen.
The governor says if 2.5 million Kentuckians get at least one dose of the vaccine, capacity restrictions will be loosened for most venues that cater to 1,000 or fewer patrons.
U of L Health says 12,000 people have been vaccinated at its Cardinal Stadium site in its first week since opening, despite those still wanting to get their vaccine. Officials say there was a drop-off in demand about halfway through the week. They say this shows most people who wanted a shot has gotten one, and those who are left might be more hesitant. Organizers have started using volunteers to look for more people willing to get vaccinated.
They're actually helping us right now, going out into the neighborhoods and making phone calls to local businesses to try and help get more people out here and offering the information for the businesses to tell their employees to come out. We've sent information to the Restaurant Association. We've sent information out to some of the larger employers. So they're working.
And people are encouraged to make an appointment, but walk-ups will also be accepted.
Tonight at 6, no one was injured in an apartment fire off Poplar Level Road this afternoon. It happened around 3 o'clock on Fincastle Road. It took a couple dozen firefighters less than a half hour to bring the fire under control. Investigators are looking for a cause now.
The coroner has identified the body pulled from the Ohio River this week as a man missing since last month. Officials say LG&E workers spotted the body near the generating station off 27th Street around noon Wednesday. The coroner says it was 46-year-old Darrell Long. He was reported missing near the end of March. His cause of death has not been determined.
A Southern Indiana Sheriff's Department says it found thousands of dollars worth of stolen tools and drugs in a number of storage units. Deputies executed a search warrant at the storage facility in Seymour. Inside, you see some of the stuff they found, a number of illegal drugs, as well as $30,000 worth of tools, including welders, generators, and some electronic items. He's been arrested and faces theft and drug charges.
Local first responders hope a different form of transportation helps them respond to calls quicker at some of Louisville's parks. Jefferson County's firefighters launching a bike patrol. Officials say as the weather gets warmer, more people are heading outside. And now, if there's an emergency, it will be easier to reach someone on the trails.
They've got gear bags on the back, multiple water bottles, so if we get somebody in the summer that's dehydrated, we do run an EMS service as well, so we have paramedics and EMTs that we can put on here with sling bags, be able to provide advanced care even out in the park versus, you can't get an ambulance back off in a trail.
And previously, firefighters relied on an off-road vehicle to reach someone on a trail.
Up next on WLKY, hear how Louisville's creative community is pushing out a vision for the future.
We're going to stay dry and pleasant as we work through this evening overnight tonight, but changes are set to arrive as we get into the weekend. Here comes our next system. Rain chances make a return to the forecast along with some cooler temperatures, so we'll talk more about that and take a look at your full 7-day coming up.
Right now, this is WLKY News at 6.
A local hospital is once again raising awareness for the urgent need of organ, eye, and tissue donations. U of L Health raised a donate flag highlighting that a single donor can save between 8 and 75 lives. Think about that. Beth Burbridge spoke about why she chose to donate a kidney.
It was because of my love for my sons that I chose to help another mom and dad save their son. My heart is so full because of my boys. I couldn't imagine looking into their eyes and not being able to help them as Jackson's disease left his parents unable to help him.
Nearly 114,000 patients are waiting for a life-saving transplant, and another person is added to that list every 10 minutes. Louisville's creative community is joining together to bring new life to local arts.
WLKY's Gladys Batista reports how the community-based initiative comes after a year like no other.
Louisville's arts and culture community came together to discuss their shared vision for the next 4 years. It's called Imagine Greater Louisville 2025, and it incorporates how the arts can help the community heal from the events of 2020.
Louisville's arts and culture community is reimagining its role to ensure it makes an impact. A virtual conversation outlined how to get that done with Fund for the Arts President Christian Boone.
How can the community support the arts to how can the arts best serve this community?
There's 5 pillars at the heart of the plan: access, cultivation, education, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and promotion. They're expanding on their goal revealed in 2017 for 2020. But with the pandemic and fight for racial justice, there's now a new plan called Imagine Greater Louisville 2025.
The arts to recover economically, to be able to invite visitors back to our community, to rebound our tourism community, our restaurant community, but perhaps even more importantly, our social connection.
Leading the creation of the cultural plan is Michael Kaiser. It has 17 strategies and 52 recommended actions.
Louisville could become an incredibly exciting, dynamic national leader in this field.
Among Kaiser's goals, creating a bridge for creatives after the pandemic to come back stronger, helping to dismantle systemic racism, and giving everyone access to information about the arts. Providing more support for Black artists is high on the priority list as well.
We need to provide more funding and more access so that Louisville can rightly be considered one of the great cities from which Black art is emanating.
With 4 years left in the plan, Boone says building on last year is a critical starting point.
To recover and rebuild from this past year, we need our arts and culture strong.
Arts cannot change events, but it can change people.
Gladys Bautista, WLKY News.
Nearly 500 people gave input on the Greater Louisville 2025 plan through interviews and surveys.
Louisville is showing its commitment to planting more trees ahead of Arbor Day. Leaders joined in a ceremony this afternoon at Champions Park. Organizers have the goal of planting more than 700 trees by May 1st to combat the city's urban heat island effect and undo damage to the local tree canopy. Multiple organizations are working together to continue the effort and plant as many new trees as possible.
When you create a canopy in a park, it can actually air condition the rest of the environment around it. It creates a cooling environment that flows out into the urban landscape and helps those people, even if they don't have closed canopy.
The Kentucky Division of Forestry also recognized Louisville's Tree City USA status, which requires a number of efforts directed at managing and expanding its public trees. National Arbor Day is April 30th.
Now your WLKY weather with meteorologist Chris Johnson.
All right, folks, a beautiful weather day here across the area. Lots of sunshine, temperatures pleasant, still below normal for this time of the year, but hey, not bad. Lower and mid 60s in many locations right now. Looking across the river towards downtown, you can see some of the higher cirrus clouds beginning to stream in, and those clouds will continue to increase throughout this evening and overnight tonight. Right now, currently sitting at our high for today at 65 degrees. Again, not bad out there, a little below normal for this time of the year. An average high should be around 69 degrees, so 4 below where we should be, but really not that bad of a feel out there. Lower to mid 60s in many locations from top to bottom. And as we look ahead throughout this evening, temperatures expected to cool off eventually into the 50s by late evening. The good news is staying nice and dry as we scan those skies. And here's a look at that evening planner. Not bad. Again, lower 60s for the first part of your evening, eventually falling into those lower and mid 50s by late evening. Overnight tonight, clouds will continue to increase as our next system takes aim at the region by the time we wake up for your Saturday morning. So big picture here, you can see the northerly wind keeping those temperatures in check today, but some of the higher cirrus clouds beginning to stream in because of our system back to the west that will move towards the east overnight tonight, and it arrives on our doorstep by early tomorrow morning. As it does so, well, the chances for some light scattered showers will become a possibility. As far as low temperatures are concerned, waking up tomorrow morning early if you have to, those lower to mid 40s in many locations. The cooler temperatures to our north, 46 here in Louisville, with some mid to upper 40s showing up to our west and to our southwest. But the cloud cover will be there, and early on some light scattered showers will be a possibility. The good news is this is not a washout type of rain, not a washout type of a day. So some light scattered showers here or there will be a possibility. Otherwise, the cloud cover sticks around into your Saturday afternoon. A few more showers cannot be ruled out, but we do trend drier late afternoon and especially into your Saturday evening as partly cloudy skies will take over. So here's a look at the weekend planner. Mainly mostly cloudy for your Saturday. Again, on the cooler side, upper 50s for those afternoon highs with a few light scattered showers a possibility. For your Sunday, latter half of the weekend, not too bad. Some sunshine expected through the first part of the day. Temperatures climbing into the low 60s. And as we get into your Sunday evening, Sunday night, a few more showers become a possibility. That's weaker system number 2 that will slide across the Ohio Valley before hitting the road by early Monday morning. We look ahead into next midweek. A much stronger cold front will bring some rain chances back into the forecast. The bigger story right now will be the colder air in behind this that will set up shop as we head towards next mid and late week. We could be talking the potential once again for some frost to show up for the next couple of mornings into next Thursday and perhaps Friday. As far as temperatures are concerned, next 6 to 10 days looking way down the road. Northwest wind flow, that's going to bring below normal temperatures to the forecast for the extended period. All right, forecast for tonight, increasing clouds, dry and cool, dropping down to 46. Tomorrow, 59, with some of those light scattered showers a possibility. 7-day forecast showing temperatures rebounding into the mid 60s Monday with some dry time expected. Look at this, near 70 next Tuesday, and then we tank those temperatures. 50 by next Wednesday, overnight lows dropping into the 30s towards the end of next week. Guys, meaning some frost potential will be in the forecast once again.
Thought we were done with that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Again, old man winter throwing some punches our way.
For sure. All right, thanks, Chris.
Sure.
Heading to the draft coming up here. Why a local basketball star is stepping away from the Cards after 2 seasons. For the 3rd straight year, a Louisville Cardinal was drafted in the WNBA draft. 2-time ACC Player of the Year, Dana Evans says she's grateful for the opportunity to go pro. She's heading to the Dallas Wings as the 13th overall pick. She was the first pick of the 2nd round. Since she fell out of the 1st round, she says she's using that as motivation in the next phase of her career.
I am really grateful for the opportunity, but if you know me, you know I'll use this as motivation and I'll add it to something that I'll look forward to, take a picture of it, remember it forever, and I just go from there. I'm trying to figure out if I can wear number 13.
And Evans is the 14th player drafted in U of L women's basketball history. Just a couple of years ago, David Johnson was leading Trinity to the school's state basketball title.
Now, after 2 seasons with U of L, he's taking the next step. WLKY's Deuce Woodson has more on what Johnson expects as he prepares for the NBA draft.
2 seasons with his hometown team, and now the U of L point guard is headed to the NBA draft. After getting his draft feedback, David Johnson says the time is now to go pro.
Once I got my feedback, that's when I knew 100% what I wanted to do. I was kind of up in the air about it, but after I got that feedback back, then thought that it was time for me.
Johnson says that feedback indicated that he will be drafted at some point. Best case scenario, he could be a first-round pick.
Some of the teammates were kind of surprised that I hadn't done it already. And sometimes I get told that I don't know how good I am. So kind of finding myself and really getting going into like a different mode where I can succeed at a higher level is what I'm looking for.
Now that his career as a Cardinal is over, the thing he's most proud of.
First goal of mine was to beat Kentucky, to just have that pride along with the city of Louisville, just to say that I was part of one of the teams that did it.
Overall, he hopes his legacy as a hometown player is someone who made the city proud.
I made an impact in some type of way. I just want to be remembered as a good person.
Deuce Woodson, WLKY Sports.
Johnson says he's close to hiring an agent. A decision will be made in the coming days. The 2021 NBA draft will be on July 29th.
We wish him well, for sure. Thank you so much for making WLKY your first choice for news tonight.
The CBS Evening News is next, and we'll see you back here tonight at 11.